What is going on, everybody? I am Ryan Heath with Fantasy Points here. Welcome back to Data Points. This is the show where I walk you through exactly how to win at DFS, how to win all your prop bets, and how to dominate your seasonal fantasy football leagues. And I'm going to do all that by using the Fantasy Points data suite. So let's get started. What?
Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome.
This week, our first data point is going to be about coverages. You probably hear a lot about too high safeties, these too high shells, kind of been a big topic in the NFL over the last couple of years, obviously. We have all of that data right here in the coverage matrix in the data suite. And as you can see how I've sorted it here, the Minnesota Vikings defense has been playing too high shells at the highest rate in the league this year, 74.4%. So that means that the Lions are going to have to find a way to combat that, right? So we can figure out exactly how they might do that just by looking at the Lions splits against too high shells this season. So let's move over here to the advanced receiving table. As you can see here in the filters on the left, I've selected too high. I've searched up the Lions, and we can just see the Lions and how they are attacking these too high shells this season. As you can see, I've sorted by yards per route run. Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, looking pretty good, right? 2.57 yards per route run, 2.56, Amon-Ra right behind. Sam Laporta not getting a lot of action against these too high shells, right? Just over 1 yard per route run. So I would expect a lot of Jameson Williams, a lot of Amon-Ra St. Brown this week. I am going to be stacking this game in DFS, and it is going to be with Jamo, with Amon-Ra, not with Sam Laporta. And I'll even give you a little bit of a matchup / coverage bonus here. So if we go ahead and add single high back in here, we have this new blitzed filter as well. You can toggle on or off to filter a table by whether the defense blitzed on a play, right? So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to hit apply. And that's going to show us the stats against the blitz this year. As you can see, wow, Jameson Williams, 4.77 yards per route run against the blitz this season. If we go ahead and remove that Lions filter and just look at all receivers, Jameson Williams, third in yards per route run against the blitz this year, just behind Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, ahead of 100 plus other receivers. Yeah, Jamo has been great against the blitz this year. As we know, Brian Flores loves to dial up those blitzes. So for this reason, Jameson Williams is going to be a centerpiece of a lot of my DFS lineups this week. All right, for data point number 2, I'm going to show you a new tool that we just released this past week. It is the weekly pass rate over expectation report. We have both an offense and a defense version. You might ask, Ryan, what is the pass rate over expectation? What's the expectation? What are we even talking about here? So NFL teams will pass more in certain situations. If they're trailing, if it's third and long, they're a lot more likely to pass, right? If it's second and short, they're a lot more likely to run, and so on, right? What we do is we take all of that context and calculate it into one number for you, pass rate over expectation. This gives you a true, like all else equal idea of how pass heavy an offense actually is based on the situations they've been put into. Situation agnostic. It's over expectation. So as you can see, this is actually the defense version of it. So what this is telling you is how much are offenses passing or running against certain defenses. So the Lions, for example, are allowing the highest pass rate over expectation this season. That means that opposing offenses are throwing the ball, whether that's for schematic reasons because of personnel or because the Lions just have a really good run defense and through the air is how teams try to beat them. We can see here, yeah, teams are trying to beat the Lions through the air. On the other end, if we scroll down to the very bottom, you can see the Dallas Cowboys and the Indianapolis Colts are the biggest run funnel defenses. Opposing offenses are running the ball against them at extremely high rates based on the expectation, right? So with that in mind, let's switch over to the offense version of this table. And we can see here, okay, the Lions' opponent this week, the Vikings, on offense, they have the 6th highest pass rate over expectation this season. So we have a pass happy offense going up against a pass funnel defense. That's exactly what we want to hear for DFS, right? Another reason I absolutely love this game. Other than that, if we scroll down, we can see the Dolphins. Okay, the lowest pass rate over expectation this season. You can see kind of the 2 Tyler Huntley games right here, both well below a negative 13% pass rate over expectation. I would expect pretty similar because, yes, the Dolphins are playing the Colts, who we just pointed out were one of the league's biggest run funnels this year. So I really like this tool because it can kind of help you diagnose, try to guess at what not just the game script, but what the intentions are going to be going in of these offenses and how they kind of want to attack these defenses. All right, data point number 3 is all about Tony Pollard this week. We stayed away from Tony Pollard last week. I resisted the urge to talk about him a ton. We're going to do it this week. So let's start here. We're in the advanced rushing table right now, and I've gone ahead and just sorted by the share or the percentage of attempts coming on, man gap concepts. So as you can see, Tony Pollard's at the top of this list. Over 70% of his rush attempts have been on those man gap concepts. Why is that important? Because we can look at the Bills' tendency against those as well. So if we go ahead and go to advanced rushing defense, that's going to load up, and we are going to see each team's total performance against these man gap concepts, right? If we just scroll over, we can sort by man gap yards per carry. Here we are, the Buffalo Bills allowing 5.93 yards per carry on man gap concepts. That's a great schematic matchup for Tony Pollard. If we sort by success rate, they're a bit lower, 13th best, but I really like this. This could be a sneaky rushing efficiency spot for Tony Pollard without Tajay Spears in the lineup, right? What else does that mean? No Tajay Spears in the lineup. It means a lot more snaps for Tony Pollard, correct? And that's really good news because the Bills are, I believe, 9-point favorites in this game. So Tony Pollard's going to be an every down bell cow workhorse. He's going to be getting work in the passing game as well. And look at that. Lucky for us, the Bills are allowing the highest target share to opposing backfields, 21.7%. You find this in the advanced receiving defense table. It's all the way over on the left. And yeah, you can just see by alignment what the target share allowed is for each defense. So the Bills allowing a lot of passes to the running backs. You can also see here in terms of receiving yards per game, I've gone ahead and filtered by the backfield for the targeted alignment in our filters here. The Bills allowing the most receiving yards per game to opposing backfields, 57 receiving yards by a decent margin. The Bills have had a lot of receiving running backs kind of beat up on them, like Justice Hill, Dare Agumbawale, a lot of just kind of random guys. Breece Hall obviously had a big game earlier this week. So yeah, that's just how the Bills have been attacked this year, is kind of underneath, out of the backfield. So I'd expect Tony Pollard with the Titans chasing points, again, as I said, 9-point underdogs this week, to, just kind of rack up the PPR scam in your seasonal lineups as well as in your DFS lineups. And for even more support of this, I'm sorry, we will not stop talking about Tony Pollard. I have used our new tool here, the weekly snap share report, to get an idea of, okay, what does Tony Pollard's workload look like in games that Tajay Spears is not playing a lot? So there's kind of been a roller coaster with Tajay Spears this year, where we keep hearing from Brian Callahan that he wants it to be a 50-50 split. And they keep kind of doing that in the first half, but then Tajay Spears gets hurt and Pollard's just an every down bell cow for the entire second half. And that's happened in 3 different games this season. So as you can see here in week 2, Tajay Spears, just a 30% snap share. He got hurt. Week 3, I think he was just limited in this game, but under a 35% snap share. Week 6, this was when Spears got hurt right before halftime, and Tony Pollard was just the bell cow for the entire second half. Just a 20% snap share for Spears in that game. So we know, okay, these are the 3 games where Pollard at least somewhat operated as an every down bell cow without Tajay Spears. What did his route share look like in that game? Is he actually running routes? Is he actually going to catch passes and do the PPR scam thing? Yes, he is. So here we are in the bell cow report. I've selected those weeks, week 2, week 3, week 6, those weeks that Tajay Spears played below a 35% snap share. Sort by route participation here. Tony Pollard, number 7, 54.1% route participation. Over the full season, that would rank 7th best among running backs as well. It goes down a decent bit in the other games, obviously, where Tajay Spears plays more. But we don't have to worry about that this week because Tajay Spears is likely out, as I've been saying. So that is going to do it for our data points. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to get a piece of the action with Fantasy Points data, you go to data.fantasypoints.com, sign up for an account. You can check out our basic tables absolutely free. To get into some of the advanced tables that I was showing off today, you can either go with just the standalone data suite package, or I highly recommend the all-in package. That's also going to get you all the amazing content on fantasypoints.com, including my DFS article, advanced matchups, all of my prop bets, and obviously all the other amazing content from the industry experts, from the smartest people that I know at Fantasy Points.